morning, and welcome to another episode of Josh and Pat. I'm Joshua Klein, joined by Patrick Hassett, and yesterday we got to watch a franchise start a new era in their timeline. The Detroit Lions, who were completely irrelevant for the entirety of my existence, have decided they're going to be a good football team. And now everyone thought that they were going to be cursed forever because of the way they treated their best player of all time. But it seems like that doesn't matter because Dan Campbell has changed the program around, and people were calling to fire Dan Campbell at points of this year, last year, and in between. But Dan Campbell, he stuck the course. He believed in what he was building, and it seems to be paying off. Now you have to remember, the Detroit Lions decided to trade Matthew Stafford, who was far and away their best player. He goes off, he wins the Super Bowl. It looks like the Lions are going to stink for all time. But Jared Goff, 3 touchdowns, he's looking good. So now the question is, with a 17% chance to make the playoffs, can the Lions do it? Probably not. Probably not, Patrick. I don't think they can. But I think it's a nice story to talk about. And I think the fact that they're here, and it's December, and we're saying they're playing meaningful football games is a win.
Josh, are the Lions good? Do we dare say that? Do we put them in that category now?
I'll tell you what. Any given Sunday, it feels like they can win. Because there was a time where that was not the case. It felt like in the NFL, every team is competitive, right? Every team can win any Sunday because that's just how it works, you know? All the dudes on every team have the potential to play like studs,
Josh,
because
every guy on that field gets paid to play football.
Exactly. But there was a time there where people did not think the Lions had a chance to win. If I watched the Lions game and my team was playing the Lions, I expected our team to dominate. And now it feels like the Lions, they can surprise people. I mean, they almost take one against the Bills a couple weeks ago on Thanksgiving, which arguably should have won that game. Patrick, I think this is a new era in Detroit. I think if you're a Lions fan, you have to be thrilled. I mean, the balls to trade Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff, you need them.
Great trade.
And now it seems like it's really working out. Jared Goff's playing well.
Well, especially because you're going to get the Rams pick, and the Rams can't win right now. Other than Baker Mayfield, because Baker Mayfield's the future.
Mayfield, he's the future of that franchise, and he's turning that place around. I mean, imagine Baker Mayfield once he meets Cooper Kupp. That's going to be an unstoppable force. Lions, though, it's an exciting time to watch the Lions. They're actually dynamic. I think their offensive coordinator, what's his name? Patrick, you know?
Great question. Jeff Smith.
Is it really Jeff Smith? Jeff Smith? Yeah, Jeff Smith.
Yep.
He does a great job. He might be head coach somewhere.
Yeah. You got to wonder. And then when you get a guy, Dan Campbell,
oh, dude.
You get a guy that may or may not have taken steroids. Just look at him.
Could be still taking steroids.
Could still be, but you know what?
But no, I don't think he is. I don't think that's the kind of guy he is. I think he's true to the game, and he's
you're right, Josh.
He respects it too much. He respects it too much. I don't think he would do that, Patrick.
You're right. He loves football too much to cheat like that.
Yeah, there is a guy though who's really turning things around, and maybe steroids is what he did. And I can't believe we're going to have this conversation today because I watched him in person 2 weeks ago. And when I say that it looked really bad, it looked really bad. Russell Wilson comes out, throws 3 touchdowns. Basically, I mean, he just dang near about doubled his season touchdowns in one game. It was very impressive by Russell Wilson.
Let Russ cook, Josh. We just haven't been letting him cook.
I think that might be the case. Now, I will say, when I watched the Ravens versus the Broncos, the last drive of the game, Russell Wilson decided he's like going to play like rookie Russell Wilson. Just all of a sudden, boom, second year Russell Wilson, just all of a sudden. And I was like, okay, so this guy has the potential to potentially be good at times. And it just, for whatever reason, every other drive of this guy's season was bad. Obviously had times where he could put it together, but overwhelmingly bad. And yesterday, although not perfect, Russell Wilson played well enough to win a football game. I think that's not too far to say. And arguably, the defense let this one down, which has been the complete opposite. And do you think
For the,
Russell
for the
Wilson's
first time
walking
this
into the,
season.
you think Russell Wilson's walking into the locker room with a little bit of pep in his step, looking at the defense, and the defense is, and that has to be a terrible feeling because everyone knows there seems like there's been a little bit of animosity between the defense and the offense this year. And then now that the defense is on that side, man, I wonder if Russ is the kind of guy who forgives and forgets, or if he's gonna, remind him this week. But you can't talk too much because, I mean, there's a lot of tape against him this year.
Well, and Josh, at the end of the day, they lost another football game.
They did. They did lose another football game. Does not matter how well or not well he played.
Right.
They
So
lost.
so at this point, Russell Wilson can't go out there and be like, "Hey guys, I put up more than 20 points this week. I got hurt. Not my fault."
Yeah. He had 4 touchdowns, and 3 of them were to the correct team. And backup dude, I'm blanking on his name. Apologize, dude. You came out and you threw a touchdown in the NFL, so
Which is great for you.
Now
yesterday was just a day for the backup quarterbacks in this league.
It is. Yes, because Brock Purdy, he destroyed Tom Brady. Now, I think we all saw yesterday in that 49ers game. I don't know if Brock Purdy is the reason that 49ers team did what that 49ers team did. If I had to guess, probably not. It seems like you could have put dang near anybody in that spot.
He made some throws, though.
And he did make some throws, but you could have put anybody in that spot. It feels like, and with Christian McCaffrey running the way he was, Deebo Samuel playing the way he was before he got hurt, thoughts and prayers go out to Deebo Samuel. That 49ers team is loaded. Their defense is so good. They have so many offensive weapons. And Brock Purdy is not completely incompetent. And I say he's better than that. He's good. But it seems like all you have to be is not completely incompetent. I'm convinced that Trey Lance could be winning football games with his team right now. And that's saying a lot because I think we all saw how Trey Lance played this year.
I'm going to take a timeout real quick. As much as I want to hop on the Brock Purdy bandwagon after 1.5 games, I'm going to slow down and say, hey, he's still a rookie. He's still a draft pick 262. But the 49ers are good. Yes. Josh, I want to give you a little story.
Okay.
I sat about a month and a half ago in one of my classes extremely bored. So what did I do? I mapped out how I thought all the NFL standings were going to finish. Then I seeded them for the playoffs. Nice. What was my prediction? I had the 49ers winning the Super Bowl. Okay?
Wow.
I think their defense
with Trey Lance, you thought they were going to win the Super Bowl with Trey Lance?
Trey Lance was hurt 3 months ago.
Oh, he was already hurt by then.
He was already hurt.
Wow.
He was already hurt. Josh, I think the 49ers have a real chance. Here's the only problem. And I'm not the one, I don't believe I'm the one with this original take, but it's inevitable that McCaffrey's going to get hurt. Like, it's inevitable.
Some would say that there's a few certainties in life, and McCaffrey getting hurt during the season is one of them. But hasn't he already been hurt this season? Or has he been clean all the way through?
Yeah, but like we saw Deebo go down yesterday. And by the way, Jerry Rice going on Instagram being like, shouldn't run your guys up the middle. I'm like, Jerry Rice, do you want to win football?
Don't give your best players the ball. That's what Jerry Rice was saying. Jerry Rice said, hey, if you are a skill position who's paid millions of dollars to handle the football, because that is what a skill position does, don't get the football in your hands.
Yeah, according to Jerry Rice, you can just run wide receiver routes up the sideline and you can just be uncovered.
And it's not like running the ball up the middle or in any sort of variation of that. has been the reason that Deebo Samuel is one of the most unique and dynamic players in the NFL. It's not like,
No,
you
that couldn't
know,
be Josh.
listen, that was an L take. And I'm not sure what Jerry Rice's takes usually are. I'm not sure if this is a common Jerry Rice L or a uncommon Jerry Rice L. But the internet let him know, hey, Jerry, this is he showed his age there. Because guess what? If you're a good player and you're playing football, National Football League, you're going to get the ball in your hands, and it's going to look different sometimes, okay? This is not 1862 or whenever you played, you know?
Yeah, Steve Young, how old's that guy? 75? I don't know.
It's got to be up there. I have no idea. I don't know. Not young. That's what I'll say about that. But Patrick, yesterday was a tough day for me because as we all know, Brock Purdy destroys Tom Brady. The 49ers destroy Tom Brady. And yesterday's Picks and Pancakes, which I felt was a lock. Buccaneers plus 3.5. Tom Brady was 6-0 against quarterbacks making their first start. Now, if you look at that list, it wasn't an overly impressive list of quarterbacks, but it was a list of quarterbacks. And how was I supposed to...
I wouldn't say Brock Purdy was the most impressive going into this game.
I agree. I agreed. And I said, you know what? The Bucks, they need to continue to win if they want to secure their playoff hopes. Tom Brady, he doesn't have much time left. He needs to make the most of now, what's going on in today. And he went out there. First drive, 49ers touchdown. Second drive for the 49ers. Score again. And then it felt like every single drive after that, the 49ers proceeded to bury the Buccaneers. I thought for a minute there when Mike Evans caught that beautiful touchdown pass, across the whole field, that we had a chance. Immediately, that pass was, didn't count, holding. Picks and Pancakes is cursed, and I didn't want to say it, but it is. And I alluded to it last week, and I'm not sure why, Patrick. And I try to figure out. It all started, I think it all started with the Thanksgiving Picks and Pancakes parlay.
Yeah. It's been a tough stretch for the parlay. Well, not even the parlay, just getting a pick right. So there's two things here, Josh. It's cursed, which I think 100% is.
We all know it's cursed.
And number two, I told you this. Start fading yourself, Josh.
You're right.
Literally, you got to understand the wheel went 1-0 this week, and your pick went 0-1.
The wheel went 1-0 this week. And
it wasn't close.
And it wasn't even close. It was probably like out of all they covered by the most points out of every spread on the spread.
Yeah.
Like the wheel, yeah, you're right. The wheel is hot. I thought I had it in me, Patrick, and I don't know why it's cursed. But I'd argue, Patrick, that even if I fade myself, go the opposite way, that's still the pick. And then it's going to go the opposite. I try to figure out what caused the curse, okay? Was it the fact that I was eating pancakes on Thanksgiving? I said, could that be it? No, because why would Picks and Pancakes dishonor me for choosing pancakes? I figured maybe I got to destroy some waffles or something. I don't know if that's the answer. I looked at the picks. Who did I pick? Cowboys? Is it because I picked the Cowboys? Cowboys covered, though. So clearly that was the good part. Patriots. Patriots didn't cover. Now, was it because I picked the Patriots? How could that? I can't imagine that's the case. And I just looked at it and I looked at the data and I said, what could this be? I still don't know. Patrick, what caused this
Yeah,
curse?
Josh, you're just bad at picking betting lines right now. I don't
Like,
like.
no,
Look,
but
you need to like go on Amazon, order some sage or something, spread it around the room. Let's get some good vibes back and let's get some money. Look, we got 4 weeks left to picks and pancakes some money up here
yeah,
for the off season,
yeah, and we're about to reach the 12 days of picks, Patrick.
which will be huge.
Yeah, which is gonna be huge. And so we're gonna
Well,
get
because
back.
you have to figure that out.
We're gonna get right.
Because if you have
We're gonna
12
get
days
right.
of picks, you got to at least go 7-5.
Patrick,
You got to have a winning record.
I'm going for 12-0. But
Well,
right now,
Josh, we can't even get one
right
game
now,
right.
Right
You
now,
think
we're gonna
get
go. We're gonna
12?
go 0-12, Patrick, because we're cursed. I'm gonna figure it out. And mark my words, viewers, listeners, when I figure out what the curse is and why we're cursed, I'm going to try to do everything I can to reverse it. And we're gonna win. We're gonna win again. We're gonna win again.
That's good. That's good. Hey, mindset's got to be right.
And we got to be tough. Another tough dude, though, Mike White, man. Mike White, tough son of a gun. Now, argue about how he actually played in that game. He was getting destroyed.
Josh, it was funny. Like that game was funny yesterday.
Oh, destroyed. Now, Joe Flacco, 1 for 3, 1 yard passing. Obviously, not the performance that you expect to see. Now, if Joe Flacco was late in that game, though, 30 seconds left, I think he does better than not getting a first down. I really do.
Josh, this game was perfect because Flacco had to come in for White because White was beat up. You're right. Tough
he got
guy.
hurt. He went to the hospital after.
Well, Flacco comes in and you got the perfect Joe Flacco. He got strip sacked, which is the perfect Joe Flacco moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I think Joe Flacco could have thrown up a Hail Mary there. I think that should be the plan. Like, Joe Flacco, he's a game-winning drive guy. He's a go out, make the big pass when you need it guy.
Whoa,
what if they start Mike White, let Mike White come and put themselves in position where they only need 1 score to win, and then let Joe Flacco trot out there and do his thing.
But I argue, Josh,
Super Bowl MVP.
Right, but I don't think Joe Flacco's the guy who can go get you a touchdown. I think Joe Flacco can get you a field goal. I think if you tell him, hey, got to get to the 40, he can do that. If you tell him to get to the end zone, I don't know. Because
maybe he gets them to field goal range and then we put Mike White back in. I don't know.
No, I love that because I think Joe Flacco's too used to having Justin Tucker.
Yeah, I think we start utilizing like a 2 quarterback system here in New York, and I think that really could actually work. I think you start games, Mike White goes in balls, and if you need the big play, you put in Joe Flacco, and then if you get to field goal range, you put in Mike White, and you kind of do this back and forth, and each player brings their own dynamic skill set, and then you still get Joe Flacco's leadership, his mentality. The mentality that won him a Super Bowl.
MVP,
that's the thing. So I think that the Jets have some things to figure out. I think that they can work towards that.
How about this, Josh?
But they need to get a first down there, and you were going to say, Patrick.
If Mike White plays this upcoming weekend, I think he's going to ball out.
Think so?
I think so. I think he's got that locker room. People see how tough he is. I think he's going to ball out this weekend if he plays. But that's a huge if because he was in the hospital.
Dude got destroyed. That hit on him, I have no idea what hits are legal and not legal. I'm assuming that was a legal hit, right?
Yeah, no flag.
And was it legal? Like, are we saying it was?
I mean, Josh, I don't know. Who am I to say?
Who
I'm
am I
no
saying?
different
'Cause
than the guy they bring on TV, and they're like, "Yeah, I used to be an official. I didn't agree with this call. I don't know. I like that call." It's like, no, you guys just make it up as you go.
I think so. And last night was a perfect example of that. Chargers last night beat the Dolphins, but one of the main storylines of that game, other than the fact that every single person picked the Dolphins on the TV, and as soon as I saw that, I told my dad, I was like, well, Dolphins aren't winning. When does the last time that every single person picked a team and they won? I don't know when that was. Probably wasn't as long ago as I think. It probably was like last week. I'm not sure. But I know that I said Chargers were winning. They end up winning. And the story is the Dolphins had a hit on Justin Herbert where he hits him, right? And naturally, Patrick, I don't know if you know anything about physics. Gravity. When you go in one way with a lot of force,
Right.
that force combined with gravity is going to lead you on a downward trajectory. And
Right.
you're going to be forced to land on the ground. Now, who's the dude who made the sack?
Great question.
Great question. Gets down over Justin Herbert, doesn't put his body weight on him, holds himself up, completes the tackle.
Josh, I don't know what you're talking about. That was one of the worst hits I've ever seen in the game of football. Yeah, no, obviously not.
First
That's
down.
that's exactly what the NFL wants you to think. It was one of the worst calls that you could have
Why
made.
isn't it reviewable, though? What
It's
determines what's reviewable and not reviewable? Because there's every
oh,
show, it happens once, and if it doesn't happen, it's bad
there we
luck.
go.
Every like, what determines if it's reviewable or not reviewable? Listen, I watch some soccer, and I know by no means think soccer gets everything right or gets it right. But the fact that they can literally know the call and like within zero point 0.2 seconds,
Hmm.
and then they're telling the ref on the field is genius. I mean, there's thousands of like points in that ball. Like offsides, we know exactly where the ball was at the time and when it was touched. We know that the ball's it's smart. I'm not saying let's completely integrate a virtual referee, but you're telling me there's not somebody in the booth who can go, no, that wasn't bad call, change it. Like, why does the call on the field have to be the call on the field? Why can't refs use their discretion if it's in a timely manner?
Why? Here's the question, Josh. Why do we make referees' jobs harder than they have to be? Help
Yeah.
them out. That I'm sure they would love help. I don't understand.
Makes no sense, Patrick. It doesn't make any sense. I listen. There's some things that are always going to be subjective. It seems like, you know, and some things that are always going to be tough to make calls to make. When the foot is this close to the line, and the call on the field was one thing, and it has to be clear and obvious to overturn it. Yeah, that's going to happen.
Right.
But on the things that we could obviously go, okay, no, that's bad call.
We're just asking for common sense.
Doesn't make that's all we want. I I have no idea how that happens, Patrick. But it doesn't matter. Chargers win the game. Tua played very bad. I just wanted to let you know. I looked at his stats this morning. I mean, it was not a good day for Tua. People are saying Tua's been exposed, and
When,
it
when
sucks because at the beginning of the season, I was not a Tua hater, but I was like, listen, I don't think Tua's the guy. And then I watched Tua destroy me, and I go, okay, maybe he's all right. And then he just proceeds to play well, and I was like, okay, I got to be fair. Tua seems like he's a solid quarterback. And then the last couple of
Josh,
weeks, he just plays awful, and now it's like, okay, Tua, what are you? Okay, I don't think you're the guy, and then you play well, and I say, oh, and then I finally come around to you, and then you just play like crap. Makes
Josh,
no
he was
sense.
3 for 17 with 25 yards at one point. Like that's funny. That's a very funny stat line.
Yeah, I have no idea how that even happens, Patrick. What like Tua? He, I'm rooting for you, Tua. I was.
Josh, do you want to hear? I
You
went
gotta
back.
play
I was
better.
listening to old takes I had, and
When was this?
I was scrolling through, and it was 2020 COVID year when Tua gets drafted.
Yeah.
I said that the football team made a huge mistake by not drafting Tua, and they drafted Chase Young over it. And like, I think the take's still up for discussion at this point.
I think it's a very fair discussion. I was going to say because I wasn't sure when you first said that. I was like, well, I don't know. That could hold up, but it also that's interesting, Patrick. I think Tua. Listen, I'm rooting for you, Tua. Play better, and I think that'll solve a lot of your problems. I think the
I agree.
Dolphins might be getting exposed a little bit, and everyone was saying, "Oh, Tua was undefeated as a start when he on the games that he's played, all the way through," and that's not the case, guys. Tua,
Mm-mm.
be better. Patrick, what do you got going on today? Anything exciting?
Josh, it's finals week, man. It's a grind. No
Yeah,
different. We got to study the tape, go
yeah,
over the tendencies,
yeah.
and just pass the test. That's all it is.
Simple, get it done. Twitter Blue comes out today. I'm sure there's not going to be any massive, you know, or not fraud. What would the impersonation?
Right.
You know,
Well,
I
Josh, as long as you put parody in your bio, you're fine.
yeah, yeah. That's a very fair point. They said like the way they fixed it was you can't like if you change your username like it's like a certain amount of days or something like I guess that before it can either go through or your verification has to be like re-upped within that. And what I just want to know is, and maybe they figured out a way to do this, why can't I just create an account beforehand and be like, this is the account, and then just I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how that goes. I'm actually very excited. I feel like I'm waiting for the Twitter Blue drop, like I'm waiting for an album drop.
Album
Like
drop.
I'm
Fair.
refreshing. I'm like, when's this dropping? I gotta know. So I'm excited. It's kind of like it's a little bit of it's a Christmas morning kind of feel.
It is. But Josh, I'm excited for these 12 days of picks.
12 days of picks. I'm excited too. I'm nervous though. We got to break the curse before, cause what? 12 days of picks.
That means you start tomorrow, right?
So let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Nice,
Wednesday.
Francesca.
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So we got 2 days to figure out. We got 48 hours to figure out the
48
curse.
hours to figure out the curse. And then 12 days of picks starts. And yeah, it was going to be 25 days of picks. And it was going to be like an advent calendar. And then I realized I, we're cold. I don't know if I have 25 days of picks.
25 days of picks would have been absurd. It's like when you were a kid and ABC Family started running the Christmas movies
Yeah.
like Veterans Day, and you're like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, no, 25 days of picks. It was it got pitched in the writers' room, and and
Which guess what? Guess what? Congrats to the writers. Like we're all about the creative process, but
yeah, no, writers are great, and it got developed, and ultimately CEO, I had to pull the plug. I said 25 days of picks. I think I think it has a very good chance to get cold real fast, or you just have become hot, and it's like it's the best 25 days of all time. But I said 12 days of picks. We're gonna in honor of the 12 days of Christmas. And I think it should be good, but we got to change things around fast. I was getting clowned on the internet yesterday, per usual. And listen, when I post picks and pancakes, I'm going to get dunked on a couple times. And it happens. And there are some people, I just want to say, people on the internet, I don't know if you would ever say the things that you say on the internet to somebody in real life. I have to imagine not. It is wild, the world we live in, that people can type anything they ever want to say and just put it out into the world. For better or for worse, that is a possibility. I mean, there's some dudes who, I mean, they were not happy. One dude was like, a guy with the Bobby Boucher account, he was trying to dunk on me. And, I responded like a joke, like, oh, man, you're getting dissed by my childhood hero, Bobby Boucher. And some dudes goes, your childhood hero was Bobby Boucher? Dude, no wonder your picks suck. Or like, no wonder your videos suck. And I was like, you guys know that Bobby Boucher is a fictional character, right? And it's like, he's like, the point of the movie is that yes, Bobby Boucher is like a dumb guy, but he like, that's the point of the movie. It's a comedy. It's like, so I know. It's okay though. I'm fine with getting dunked on. Yesterday, deserved it a little bit because
a little bit, Josh. It wasn't close.
It was a curse, and it's hard for me. It's hard for people to understand that when I'm getting dunked on Twitter, Patrick, and people all they see is the fact that the 49ers absolutely murdered the Bucks, and my picks was for the Bucks to only get beat by 3 or less. Obviously gonna clown, but what they don't understand is it's not me. It's not my fault. It's the curse. Now, granted, some would argue, is it my fault that we're cursed? TBD. We're still figuring out why Picks and Pancakes is cursed. But I think it's not my fault. At the end of the day, I'm gonna say not my fault.
Well, I do want to just give one shout out before we wrap up here. I want to give a shout out to our nation's academies, Navy and Army, for hitting the over for the first time, I think, in 16 years this weekend. It only took an overtime game for the first time in their history. Thank you to Navy. Thank you to Army for scoring points this weekend and making my weekend objectively better.
Now, my situation for that game was perfect because I didn't watch the first 4 quarters, really.
Right.
So it was actually it was a great situation for me. Just pop in and actually see the best parts of the game.
Right, but it was fun. Like when you turn it on, you're like, this is awesome.
It was awesome. It was a great time. Shout out Army, beat Navy. I told my dad, I was like, listen, Dave, I'm rooting. I think I might want to root for Army here. I think their uniforms are way cooler. I think they got pretty sweet uniforms this year.
Did you see the helmets for Navy though?
Yeah, but I was feeling it. I was feeling the I felt like Army could literally run off the field to Afghanistan, like in what they're currently wearing. And put like a hit stick on, some dude. I didn't feel that way for Navy.
You don't think Navy could go to the moon with NASA in those uniforms?
I didn't feel like they could get in a spaceship and immediately take off.
I saw those and I was like, wait, I thought we have a space force now.
I was very confused, Patrick. I saw it said NASA on the helmet. But then I said, I'm dumb, Josh. Clearly it's just a different font saying Navy. Because there's an N and an A. And then I said, no, it gotta be NASA. And then now, even as you say it, I'm not sure if it was Navy or NASA on the helmet.
Oh, it was NASA. It was NASA. I can verify
For sure? That. Okay.
Well, now I'm second guessing myself.
I honestly didn't know. I was like, I just saw it because it's small and I'm not reading it. And I just, in my brain, you see it, you say NASA, but then you're like, they're Navy. I don't know if it was Navy or NASA. I may never know. I'm not sure if the players knew or not. But I will say, I thought Army was a little bit cooler. My dad immediately was like, you can't root for Army, dude. The Naval Academy's, it's our hometown. And I was like, fair. I just know some people who are rooting for Navy that I'm like, I kind of like to see instigated a little bit.
Fair. I don't know. It was a fun game.
Fun
Fun
game. I
weekend.
mean, I never thought I'd see back-to-back touchdowns in an Army Navy game. On for
Especially throwing the ball.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I felt so bad for that dude on the sideline when he didn't get it and he was sitting there crying and they just keep showing it. And I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
that's tough. That's real tough.
Yeah,
Because
because I
this is like your Super Bowl, right?
it is. What I love about Army Navy, it's the one game a year that I am totally okay with. Like coaches playing not to lose. I'm okay with teams just running the ball everywhere and just
I mean,
weird things
that's
happening.
all they know how to do, Patrick.
Right, right. But it's awesome. It's awesome for that one game a year. Like at the end of the game, like Navy wasn't even like trying to go down the field and like win the game and try to maybe kick a field goal or something. They were like, nope. I just need to make sure we do not give the ball back to Army. So they were just running the ball and running the ball. And I'm okay with that. It's the one game a year. I'm okay with it.
I think I have no idea how it's 2022 and that's how they play football still. I really don't. Like, there's dudes in high school who can sling it. There's high school offensives that are more dynamic than Navy.
Josh, I think the one pushback is I'd argue that a lot of the guys that are slinging the football around probably don't want to go to Navy or Army to play
No, and
football.
that's fair. And that's fair. Patrick, I could have been quarterback for Navy yesterday.
No,
I would have gone 0-1 on my completions. But I'd only need to throw the ball once and it would have been fine. You're telling me I'm a smart kid. I can learn how to do this or this.
true.
Okay? Sure, like 0 for 1's not bad. That's not a bad stat line. If you're only throwing it once, if you only have one in completion, that's a good day for
Yeah.
most people.
Yeah. Great day.
And on that one odds off chance that I complete that pass,
Then you're sitting there at 100% completion percentage, and anyone would love to have that.
perfect quarterback rating, I think. Actually, I'm not sure how quarterback
I don't know
rating
how that works.
at all.
Not going to pretend to act like I know how it works.
Makes no sense. Yeah, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I brought up QBR, and this dude, you could tell he is never like he plays football, but he doesn't like watch it like that. And I just was like in this guy's head. This guy's thinking, oh, like this is just like he's a stat nerd, like doesn't never played football guy, because he's like he's a football player, and I was like, man, like I was like I felt kind of dumb there for a second. I was like talking about QBR, and he's like QBR. I was like, oh,
You're the analytics guy. The analytics
and
guy
I'm not.
play football.
And well, I was yesterday. I trusted the analytics. I said 6-0, going to be 7-0. That's my problem, Patrick. I trusted but I don't know, Patrick. We'll figure it out. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening, watching. That's really the only two senses that this show integrates or interacts with you in. But thank you for that. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. It's a good time. You can see me get dunked on a lot. But I will say, then sometimes though, it's a mixed bag. I woke up and had some likes. Had people posting some memes too. But we did all right. It was all right. Anyway, Patrick, you have a wonderful day. You guys have a wonderful morning. Nobody makes it to the end of this. If you're watching the end of this, DM me and I'm going to send you a mug. Goodbye.
Boom.